Hey, good morning. This is Andy Crowner.
Hey, how are you, Andy?
Doing just fine. How about yourself?
Pretty good for a Wednesday. I was hoping for sunshine, but I, alas, was disappointed again. But yeah, I'm not going to let that get me down. What's going on in your world?
Well, I usually call to talk city and real estate stuff, but it's hard not to talk about the debate last night. I can talk about that for hours with you after that train wreck.
Not our finest day in television history, correct?
No, and I would just wish that Trump had that base Republican philosophy, and that he was able to explain, the role of government and limited government, and
right.
He just doesn't really have that to fall back on when he's answering those questions, and I think that's what we're missing.
Absolutely, and there's also there are also lessons to be learned by how badly this is handled, and I feel like we do a better job of those things locally. You sit on the council of West Burlington. People don't agree on things. People have different ideas. Even your own constituents, and then the people that represent them on the council, then the mayor, and people. Obviously, we're different people. We don't agree on important issues right here in our hometown. But somehow we're able to come to consensus through voting, and then the other side doesn't get to stay miffed for the rest of their lives, Yeah,
you've got to be able to speak your mind, vote your opinion, and move on. And I can see how nationally, though, it is so vile at the moment that it's just a hard thing to do. It's hard to be civil when you're picked on in the press every day. I'm glad I don't have that job. That would be really hard to wake up every morning seeing your name smeared
right,
everywhere.
Right. And there's the simple finality of being outvoted on something, whether it be an election or whether it be just a 5-4 vote on a city council somewhere over what road to build or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to pick up and move on to the next topic.
A lot of times I call in and we have a conversation about things that happened and we voted on, and you'll hear me say, hey, I actually voted no on that, but
right.
Hey, now that we voted, we're going forth as a city and doing it, and I've got to get behind that. So I can't sit there and just second guess or be angry about a vote that didn't go my way.
Right. So part of my commentary this morning is congratulations to the West Burlington City Council for handling their business in a reasonable way. So does the Burlington Council usually. These things are important, but what's also important is keeping the rule of law and the order of things. Part of what was revolting about that last night was all of this stuff about fundamental changes in government that are not well thought out, stacking the court, the filibuster, eliminating the electoral college, these kinds of things that foundationally change our country. The people that set up the Constitution, the founders, they gave this tremendous educated thought over a lifetime of experiences. And instead, what we do is we knee-jerk reaction from this to that to the other, flailing at any kind of change that will give you some satisfaction in the moment, but has no long-term positive consequence. So it's frustrating, for sure.
Yeah, you're exactly right on some of the mainstays of our government that we have decided to throw away in order to pass one thing or accomplish one item on a list, and we are not thinking historically about what that will mean over the next 100 or 200 years for the future of our government. So it's just the last 15 years. I don't know if you can put an exact timeline on it, but
right.
It's just really went downhill.
Yep. And oddly enough, because the very pledge that you take as a city council person is to the same Constitution we're talking about, the Iowa Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, even down at this level and, one of the smaller towns in Iowa kind of thing, So it matters. It's not just this like hypothetical, theoretical discussion we're having on the national level. No, it reaches down to West Burlington and changes the very nature of how we operate.
Yeah, and that's, last week we talked about a vote on a painting of pool slides for $25,000, and that's an easy thing to go ahead and vote for, but I really do have that belief that items like that should be budgeted. We should have them planned and talked about, and it should be part of our process. And I don't think that we should do a knee-jerk, hey, let's just vote on this and get it done when the money's not planned. And I think that process needs to be there. And those are the reasons I vote for some of those things here locally, and I wish they had that same philosophy at the state and national level.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. So, that being said, anything new in West Burlington that we haven't covered in the last week or so?
Yeah, a couple things to talk about. So, no meeting this week. That'll be next week. Everybody listening, understand that Houston Street, which is kind of the major east to west street in West Burlington, is being worked on this week. So, during the day that is closed down, if you live in a dead-end street in that area, we do have flaggers in those areas so you can get across the street. But understand that you need to take an alternate route this week if you're going out to the mall or out to the hospital, those kind of things. Just take a different way other than Houston this week.
Okay.
And then one thing we talked about last week, but I want to remind people about, is we do have fall cleanup coming October 7th. As we mentioned, try not to set items out too early. Make sure they're approved items, which we have that information on the city website and also in your newsletter that you got. So that's coming up soon, and I'm glad we're able to do that because I've got some stuff waiting, and I think a lot of people do.
All right. That's all we're going to say about the city council for the moment because I'm anti-government today. But
well, let me say one other quick thing because I think it's a nice thing our city's doing.
Yeah.
The fire department is going to go ahead and have their annual pancake breakfast. We scheduled that for Saturday, October 17th. Be from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Free will donation. They're at the fire station. The fire trucks will be on display. This is obviously something we normally do in accordance with July 4th activities, but we kind of pushed those this year. So we're doing that October 17th. So please come out and support our fire department.
Right on. That is genuinely good news because that's one of my favorite events. October 17th, we'll remind you three times before then, hopefully. You and I will remind the rest of everybody. Now, switch hats over to the exciting real estate business hat right now because despite all of this stuff going on, of course, there's the terrible thing called the China virus and the rest of that out there still percolating through communities everywhere, including ours. But some of the side effects of it have actually worked out to be a blessing in disguise might be one way to do it. We've never spent more time at home than we have since March till now, where normally our first impulse would be to go out. Well, we're bringing stuff in now. We're bringing in, carrying out, driving through, this kind of thing, be that food, entertainment, whatever the case may be. And it has caused us to have a hard look at some improvements, things that we've been overlooking that we should maybe improve upon, and made us look at our home in a kind of a different way. And I know people with younger families, our family's raised now, but the younger families are out there saying, this might be just the first of a real kind of avalanche of this kind of thought process. This is a pandemic, but there's also flu season. There's all these other things. Maybe we should set up a better home situation, more space, more entertainment, maybe a better yard, bigger yard, this kind of thing, different part of town, whatever the case may be. if we're gonna spend some more time in the future here at our house, we should change up a bit. And this has caused opportunities both for buyers and sellers in this market right here, right?
Yeah, the fact is that interest rates are lower than they've ever been. It is cheaper to buy a house today than it's ever been. A lot of people have said that over the years. We go back before the housing crash there previously, and you would think, well, maybe back then was better, but this is way cheaper than that, pretty much like half of that. Rates are extremely low, and that's driving a lot of new home buyers into the market. And we keep talking about we need more homes. Toured a lot of great properties this week. We have some real gems available in Southeast Iowa. And I think that's something we don't talk about enough is the unique architecture and the homes that we have in Burlington. There's some really unique things. I love going out and showing new homes that I haven't been in before because they're just beautiful. Have a lot of great properties in town. And as you talked about, that want of being home and enjoying your home and having more opportunities to relax and entertainment opportunities in your home continues to grow. And so we have a ton of buyers right now. I couldn't even tell you how many as an office we have. I, as a fairly new realtor, probably have 20 buyers looking today.
Wow.
And the homes just aren't there. There's 200 homes available in our county. I would guess there's probably more like 400 people looking. So there's a lot of opportunity there. If you're thinking of selling, now's a great time to do it.
And the same thing can be said about buying?
Absolutely. And you would think, okay, so home prices are going to rise slightly. But when you factor in that interest rate, the amount you're going to pay total for that home goes way down. So even if you end up paying, $5,000 more on the list price of the home, let's say, once you start adding in that interest, which may add, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 onto your total amount that you're going to pay over 15 or 30 years, that number is going to drop dramatically, and you may end up saving $20,000 total on the price of your home just because that interest rate is so low. It is very cheap to buy a home right now. It's cheaper than renting right now for great homes that we have available.
This is Andy Crowner. His website is, not surprisingly, it's andycrowner.com. andycrowner.com. There's lots of things there, including free guides that can help to guide you through this process. No obligation, just helpful things that you might want to have a look at. You can go there and register for that. And also, Remax Realty here in West Burlington is a place that you could find him from time to time. Other ways to help out besides those guides, Andy, we, in the beginning of these segments, used to talk a lot about your marketing experience. We haven't done that lately, but as I move through this community, I see more and more the importance of having somebody who's not just a realtor, which we know the value of, but a realtor that really knows how to market something for sale. And it's a natural edge, I think, that you have over some other realtors.
Well, that's been my life experience. I started doing websites when I was, frankly, like 16 years old was, I think, the first professional website I ever did, and got into that early and worked with some great companies here in town, done probably 500 websites. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of great companies, local companies, and then on a national scale. And, that is where real estate has moved to. They say, about 50% of homes are actually found online that the one is purchased. So it's not just anymore sticking a sign up in the yard and an ad in the newspaper. You've really got to be able to market property online. And 92% of buyers are searching online first to find the homes, and you have to make sure that the home looks great online, that you have video, 3D walkthroughs, all the new kind of technology in real estate. And obviously my experience in that fits perfectly with marketing a home.
This is Andy Crowner. His website is andycrowner.com, where you can find examples of these things we're talking about and lots of helpful information. Anything else this morning, Andy? Got another minute or so.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I do have a way on andycrowner.com. You can go up and just put in your contact information and your address, and I'd love to sit down and do a free home value report for you, let you know what I think your home is worth in today's market. Got any thoughts of selling in the next 6 months, please just go on there, sign up. I do a pretty in-depth analysis. It's not something I just spit through a computer. Really go through and tell you what properties are in the market that are like yours and what it's recently sold. Did one just the other day for a home here in West Burlington. They're usually about 10 pages long. Try to give history of the property, what other information people searching for your home will see, so you can kind of see, the Zestimate and things like that people will see on your home value and why maybe that information is not correct.
Will people that have lived in their homes 10, 20, 30 years be surprised a lot of times when you do this? Like really surprised that they might have paid $65,000 for their house and now suddenly it's worth, whatever.
We're not in an economy in our area where there's the huge boom or the huge bust. But as an example, one I just did the other day, purchased 4 years ago at $140,000, I think. Honestly, today, I think that person could get $165,000 out of their house. Is that true of every house? Probably not. But in a great neighborhood, you've done some normal upkeep on your house, got a decent roof, those kind of things. I think you'll see some great value in your home today.
Excellent. AndyCrowner.com, RE/MAX Realty here in West Burlington. Thanks, Andy. Good to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Have a great morning.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, there we go. 29 after. Yeah. Right, I get that. I know. Don't blame me. I'm hungover. In the drinking game last night, the presidential debate drinking game, I had the phrase, here's the deal. So I lost track of everything about halfway through. Fact is, yes, you have only 15 seconds before the news, caller.
I had listened, folks, and I'm still in the bathroom.
Thank you. Here's the deal. All right, it's 8:30, KCPS. Be right back.